My name is Xavier Troussard. I work in the European Commission.
So I'm Sydney Heimbrock and I'm Executive Director of the Innovation Lab.
My name is Thomas Prehn and I'm the Director of MindLab.
So my name is Nisa Mali. I'm with the Canadian Government's National Innovation Lab.
My name is Sabine Junginger. I'm a design researcher.
So my name is Sarah Schulman and I am the founding partner of In With Forward.
I'm Nicolás Rebolledo. I'm from Chile. I'm an architect and a designer.
Je m'appelle Barbara B. Je travaille à la Fabrique de l'Hospitalité.
So my name is Alice and I'm working with the Pays de la Loire region. And I've been part of the innovation team since July 2013 when it has been created.
Just testing to make sure that the camera works and the microphone works. I'm most inspired by building connections and networks, so building communities, building connections between people both inside and outside government and at all levels of government. And so I'm particularly inspired by events like this that bring together labs and other practitioners from around the world.
What inspires me most about my work is that I find design itself is an absolute fundamental human activity that we don't understand fully yet, and that we don't understand it in places where it has an immense impact for people's everyday lives and for our society as a whole.
The power that government have to change people's lives, and the power that an experimental laboratory can have inside government to improve the role of changing people's lives.
Can I put it in your pocket? We're going to do the interview in two parts, in two different positions.
I think the skills that public administrators most need to do this kind of work is twofold. One, discernment, and the second, prototyping. And by discernment, I mean the ability to ask really good questions and to know what you don't know by going out and finding new types of intelligence and new types of data and being able to interrogate that. And the second is prototyping, the ability to bring to life your ideas at a small scale in order to get really good feedback and to improve them and iterate them and not start with a full finished plan and try and implement, but actually to take something that's just a kernel of an idea and bring more people into that process and make it more and more concrete as you go.
And design skills is a big word, but I think we need to start even bigger, which is a design concept. So when I'm saying that, I mean that a design skill, the making, the prototyping, the testing, the iterative, creative development of a product, it's in parallel with a rethinking of what designing actually means in the public sector.
So I believe that what makes us truly human is our ability to design. And if we can tap into that innate ability and enable people to engage in design as something they already know how to do intuitively, I think it's less about building the skills and more about unleashing the opportunity to do those skills that we already have. So the resilience and the adaptability to changing how we do work, that is really, to me, the most important thing. The design comes when you enable it.
Donc on va faire ce petit switch.
Ce petit changement. Une première barrière pour développer le design, notamment dans le service public, c'est déjà ce terme de design, où finalement nos interlocuteurs vont penser au dessin d'une chaise avant tout. Donc il y a tout un travail d'acculturation et d'explication de ce que peut apporter le design dans nos services publics.
The barriers to embedding design in the public sector come at all levels. This is very much a new field for many governments, and we're as public servants aren't used to having access to end users and to clients. We're not used to having even just the accessibility of our end users, and I think that that's a huge culture change from our most bureaucratic organizations.
So there are obviously many barriers to really implementing design in the public sector, one of which is people's roles, that they often are there to deliver against a set of targets or deliverables, and there's not much room to contest those or to question, are those the right outcomes? Is that really what people want? Is that really what our mission is? And to work backwards from that. So often in the public sector we're stuck trying to deliver against things that are stagnant, that don't really reflect or represent the views of folks on the ground.
I think the main barrier is probably a question of self-confidence in framing and reframing issues. So there's some reluctance to look at a multiple perspective and to question ourselves up to the bitter end of what is the issue from the perspective of the citizen, from the perspective of the different categories of stakeholders.
Okay, we're going to move?
Yeah.
Just two more questions.
Sure.
Let's go.
How can we integrate better design thinking in the public sector? I think like in any big organizations, I'd say people are kind of reluctant to changes. So the best way to integrate design into public policies, I think it's first of all do small projects, maybe not in an official way, and show that it brings results, and show that design is a process for actually making things happen in a maybe more effective way with more impacts.
I think we can better integrate design thinking in the public sector by allowing people to experience it. Design thinking shouldn't be something that's abstract or something you read about online or in a toolkit. It actually needs to be an immersive process of understanding and doing it.
I think the challenge of integrating design thinking into the public sector, or design as a discipline inside the public sector, is first to understand that design, to be very aware not to become design at new technocracy. I think the approach of innovating with this new way of understanding things on doing, that is design, has to be very complementary with the legacies and traditions of public sector innovation and public policy making.
I think that it's really not about design thinking, it's about being able to innovate in those circumstances that are real now for public administration. Design thinking is one of them, but I think it's really about scaling all the learnings that we have made in public innovation labs for the last decade.
C'est bon pour moi. Elle est partie. Allez, c'est quand vous voulez.
C'est quand on veut.
Immersion is very important for us, how we relate with people. So we're working now in a health project, and we're really immersed in the context of where the health service is and where the community is living and what are the problems, the real problems they are really having.
L'immersion, c'est ce qui fait la vraie différence des projets qu'on peut porter avec des méthodes de design public en étant au contact des usagers. Alors pour nous à l'hôpital, les usagers, c'est bien sûr les patients et les personnes qui les accompagnent, mais aussi l'ensemble du personnel hospitalier qui pour nous sont le premier levier d'amélioration de l'accueil des patients. Et c'est en étant au plus proche d'eux dans les services au quotidien avec des équipes de designers qu'on peut transformer les choses de l'intérieur.
In our project, I think this is one of the next steps we're going to go through. Our lab is quite recent, and we have already started a project which is about the links between the European Commission and some regional authorities. And so we will experience our first immersion probably in the coming months, trying to understand this issue of communication from the perspectives of the people in the regions.
So for me, immersion is really understanding intuitively the experience of people who are involved in a particular design project or design challenge, and being able to walk in their moccasins and see things from their perspectives and bring all those different perspectives together to create better solutions for everybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
So you're free, thank you.
Taking the microphone back. Try not to scratch you. Oh, it was just a millimeter, but keep the microphone alive. Yeah.